Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to Woo Can Cook. My name is Wesley, and this is a show where we are slowly cooking our way through all of the food from my childhood. Today we're diving back into our series dedicated to Korean comfort food classics with a shot at the Korean Buldak chicken. For those unfamiliar, Buldak, or literally translated fire chicken, is a grilled or fried chicken dish that, as the name implies, is best known for its spicy qualities derived from the use of chili paste or gochujang, chili powder or gochugaru, and a Korean marmalade known as cheong. The pairing of these elements go on in turn to yield the dish's fiery spice profile as well as its signature menacingly bright red color, hence its name. For our version today, we'll be incorporating these elements into our chicken marinade with a couple of adjustments to accommodate for our home kitchen wok sear method in lieu of the more traditional open flame grill, meaning that we'll need to rethink when to incorporate our sweet elements to avoid the sugars from burning in the sear. Finally, to pair with all of this, Buldak is often, albeit optionally, paired with a coin-shaped rice cake known as tteok for a bit of texture to the dish, plus, you guessed it, mozzarella cheese to give us at long last the cheese pool that we've all been waiting for on this channel. Okay, so let's get into it. Figured that we're going down with it too now. Okay, so kicking things off here first, we're starting off with some aromatic veggies to pair with our chicken today to establish some fundamental umami qualities. This is 4 cloves of crushed and minced garlic to start, followed by 1 inch or about 1 tablespoon of fine minced ginger and the whites of 3 green onions sliced up thinly. Then, as we often do, we're taking these reserved greens of our green onions, slicing them up thinly on a bias, and setting aside for our final finishing garnish. Moving right along to our rice cakes next, I have 8 ounces or half a pound of Korean tteok here that we're rehydrating in boiling water for 10 minutes until tender and bendable. Now, Buldak most iconically features a coin-shaped tteok, which is literally the same thing but sliced into a different shape. You may recall that we used these more recently in our cheong recipe not too long ago. I happen to have these cylindrical-shaped tteok on hand today, so we're gonna use these for our version here, so, please don't lose your minds over this. I know the internet is prone to do this. It's gonna be okay. Up next, in a separate bowl, we're assembling the marinade to our chicken here, which, as I mentioned earlier, is gonna focus mainly on our gochujang and gochugaru. This is 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and a single tablespoon of sesame oil here to start, followed next by some acidic elements to help tenderize our chicken. This is going to be a single tablespoon each of rice vinegar and mirin going in. Then finally, at long last, this is 2 tablespoons of our gochugaru chili powder, followed by 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup of gochujang chili paste to round everything out. Now, as you may have noticed, the one element that we have left out at this point is our primary source of sugar, which would be our marmalade. We're holding this element back today from our marinade because I don't think that the incorporation of sugars is going to significantly affect the way that our chicken marinates, but it will, however, absolutely cause the chicken to burn much quicker when we go to do our wok sear today. This might be less of an issue with a more traditional Buldak cooked over an open flame grill, but since the more direct heat of our sear is more likely to burn those sugars, we're holding back this element until closer to the end of our cook for our version today. Finally, last up, I've got 3 medium chicken thighs that I'm large dicing, then combining with my marinade and setting aside to marinate for 30 minutes while we head over to the stove. Over on the stove, I have my wok heating up over medium heat today. Then I'm adding 4 tablespoons of peanut oil and, as always, long lieu for that nice non-stick surface. Then going in first today is going to be our chicken, about 20 pieces at a time or so, making sure that we don't overload the wok. I'm letting this go for 2 minutes undisturbed, rotating the wok every 30 seconds or so to make sure that our rendered fats and oils stay nice and evenly distributed. Finally, we're raising the fire to high heat now, then giving a quick toss to combine with the wok tilted downward to optionally add some wok hay for a nice smoky quality to our chicken. Once our chicken is all cooked up, I've cleaned out the wok, reheated as hot as possible, added an additional 2 tablespoons of peanut oil, and given one more long lieu. Then here's my aromatic veggies going in. This is my garlic, ginger, and the whites of my green onions going in for 15 seconds until nice and fragrant, followed by our tteok and our chicken going back in. We're tossing this all to combine for about 2 minutes, then adding in a half cup of water to get our simmer going. I like to do this by rinsing down the remaining gochujang in our marinade bowl so that we may incorporate as much of it as possible into our simmer. Finally, last up, here's our marmalade or cheong going in now that it is no longer at risk of burning. For those on the hunt, cheong is readily available in most Korean grocery stores. If you can't locate it though, corn syrup or honey are also both common substitutes too. I'm giving this all a toss to combine that honey, then letting this all simmer for about 20 minutes, adding additional water as needed until a thick and saucy texture begins to form, courtesy of the rice starch shedding off from that tteok. Finally, for our last finishing touch, I'm transferring my Buldak to a heat-proof cast iron skillet and topping this all off with what should be low-moisture mozzarella cheese. Don't use high-moisture mozz like I did here, because it's going to shed off even more liquid into your Buldak and you'll have to cook it off in a second reduction later on. As always, I'm here to make these mistakes for y'all so you don't have to. In any case, this is all heading into the top rack of my oven with the broiler on for about 5 minutes, yielding a nice crispy seared cheese topping. Ooh. Finally, we're serving this all up with, as promised, a very messy cheese pool, plus our green onions to finish, and we're ready to eat. Okay, so those following along with this channel may have realized by now that of the literal hundreds of recipes that we have done now, the number of dishes that we have made with cheese of any form in them can be counted on one hand. This is, as you might imagine, because Asian food doesn't really have all that much cheese in it. I don't know what to tell you. That's why we're all lactose intolerant. That said, I for one find the prevalence of stretchy cheeses like mozzarella or American cheese in Korean bar food to be really intriguing, because it just always comes off to me like a food culture that has wildly misunderstood when to put cheese in stuff, but for some reason it's still working out really well somehow. Our mozzarella cheese has turned into a beautifully stretchy and gooey texture in the broil that is somehow the perfect pairing with the umami-driven heat from our gochujang and gochugaru. Then to pair with this, our chicken is both crisp and smoky from the wok fry, yet also still perfectly tender from that simmer as well. Finally, look, I know that we used the wrong kind of tteok today. If you ask me though, I honestly think that cylindrical shaped tteok is easier to eat than the coin shaped ones, which, hot take, have a habit of sticking together into clumps a lot more than the cylinder shaped ones like these. Regardless, in either case, whatever tteok that you do use, I do think that the more important attribute that we take away here is that they shed off a nice amount of starch in the simmer, yielding this nice thick and saucy texture without the use of cornstarch or flour. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give this one a shot. For those who are new to this series, this one is part of a larger series that we've been doing that's dedicated to Korean comfort food classics, so definitely check out that series next if you haven't yet because there's a lot of these. For the Bay Area locals, the Woo Can Cook fried rice pop-up is now at Wondrous Brewing in Emeryville every Thursday through Sunday, so come by and say hi then if you can. More about that at woocancook.com/eats. Also, a fun update, we've got t-shirts. I'm super excited to be partnering with my good friends at Pollywog Prints to make these super sweet Woo Can Cook shirts. They're super soft and comfortable and also have a picture of me on the back, which is crazy. We're selling these at the Woo Can Cook pop-up, or you can head over to woocancook.com/shop to grab one from the online store too. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, be nice YouTubers, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Every time I end up a little bit more lost, 'cause all around I see chaos, and here I stand, just a man running down his